What's going on, world? DS1 Ross. I'm back. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all y'all, man, who support me. Sheep Stay Sleep TV. It's very much appreciated, y'all. Shout out to y'all, man. I'll give y'all some time to come through before I start tonight. I appreciate all the love and the support, as always, for me, DS1 Ross, and this platform, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. If y'all haven't yet, go and check out the Black History Month series of 2019. Go and check that out right now. The Black History Month series of 2019 is in my playlist section, fam. So go and check that out. Um, Also, y'all can check out the Real Relationship series. I will be creating a playlist for that today. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create the playlist for that. So if y'all like to binge watch, y'all favorite YouTubers, if I'm one of y'all favorite YouTubers, you know, or I'm just a YouTuber you like and you would like to binge watch my series, I'm gonna have all my series in the playlist section. So watch out for that. I will be having the Real Relationship series in there. What's going on, sis? I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing the live. I appreciate it. But yesterday, I I finished up or the day before yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, I finished up the Real Relationship series, episode 4. Y'all could go and check that out if y'all haven't yet. If y'all watched episodes 1, 2, and 3, what's going on, my brother Darren? What's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Um, if y'all watched 1, 2, and 3, make sure y'all go catch 4. No losses, just lessons. That was episode 4, the last installment of the Real Relationship series. No losses, just lessons, episode 4. Go and check that out. Shout out to my brother Rob on a check-in. I appreciate you. Shout out to y'all, man. Like I said, also, I can't forget, go and check out my car rant series. I just knocked out episode 27. 28 and 29 will be coming. Stay tuned for that. Episodes 28 and 29 will probably be coming within the next day or two. Shout out to Char Willie. Thanks for tuning in, sis. I appreciate your support. Shout out to my brother JT, the grinder. I appreciate you. I'm gonna give y'all some more time before I start this. But y'all see the title. There is no black community. There's no black community. And I wanted to do this for a while now. I kept putting it off and kept putting it off. But you know, the more and more I see things transpire between us here in black YouTube, just proves my point. But tonight we're gonna break it down. I'm not gonna just give y'all my opinion. We gonna go to the we gonna deal with the facts. We gonna go to definitions and everything. You know, you see. I don't know if y'all see this, but I'm gonna let y'all see this real quick. Y'all see this? I took notes. I got notes. So I ain't coming to play tonight. We got notes tonight. Let me get to my notes. Cause I'm not gonna just give y'all my opinion and you know, opinions can be easily debunked. So see, I wrote a little, wrote some notes out, and we gonna get into it. We gonna get into it, family. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Much love to y'all. We gonna get into it. There's no black community. I'm tired of hearing that, man. And there's no black community because I don't want it to be one. We're gonna go ahead and get that out the way. No, I am not pro-black. I am black first. Because obviously if the way people think nowadays, if you're pro something, you have to be anti the other thing, you know? So if you're pro-black, you have to be anti-white. You feel me? This is why I don't consider myself to be pro-black, because I'm not anti-white. I'm not anti-Asian. I'm not anti anything unless it's something that's going to directly affect me right then and there. And then I'm going to do something about it. I'm not going to, but for the most part, most of the pro-blacks, they're anti-white. And they say you have to be anti-white, you know? And that just doesn't make sense to me, because I don't have to hate other people to love my people. That's why I just consider myself black first, because I put my people first over everybody else. To me, that's more constructive and more logical and more progressive, because most of the pro-blacks just focus on being anti-white. They don't focus on being pro-black and doing something for black people. They just focus on being anti-white and talking about how anti-white they are. That's counterproductive. That's stagnation. You're just going to sit there and just keep talking about how these people are bad for you. But you're never going to get up and do nothing, because, these people over here, they're going to always impede progress when you're actually impeding your own progress by focusing on some minute bullshit. When if you just focus on your people, be black first. Focus on your people and what you want to do for your people. And then, something can happen for you. Maybe something will manifest, you know. So I'm going to give y'all about 2, 3 more minutes, and then we going to get it in. We're going to get it in, y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in, too. Do me a favor, if y'all haven't, please hit that like button. Please do me that favor, because the likes lets other people know that I'm live. So do me a favor and smash that like button. I appreciate it. So let's get into it. Let's get into it, man. Y'all see the title. There's no black community. There's no black community. There are any. There isn't none. So All of this talk about what the black community need to do, what we need to do for the black community, there's no black community to do anything for. Okay? If there's a black community, where is it? So we're just going to reduce black people or reduce the black community to just be in the hood, the ghettos. So nobody else live in the ghetto but black people. Because when I hear people say the black community, that's what I imagine. Because I can't imagine nothing else. I can't visualize anything else. What black community? The projects? There's no black community. Black people are scattered. We're a scattered people. There's no one location or a group of locations where we can say we control something or something is just specifically for us. Because even in the hood, not only black people go to the corner store. I was just in Brooklyn for a minute. You know how many white people in the corner stores? You know how many white people walking out the projects? So what black community? Please point me to it. The pro-blacks. Point me to a black community, please. Point me to a black community. Mookie 007, welcome. Miss Sweets, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. But please point me to a black community. Where is it located? Do y'all even know what a community entails? Let's take black off of it. Let's take the label off. How many of y'all know what a community is? Because if you grew up in the 90s and in the 2000s, shit, I'm going to say even if you grew up in the 80s, but I'm speaking for myself because I was born in the 80s. So I grew up in the 90s. Shit, we ain't have no community. It wasn't no community. I knew everybody on my block. Still do. Well, not now. I'd be bullshitting if I say that now. But for the most part, the people who I've always knew, I still know. But that doesn't make you a community. You may be working on a job for 30 years and know all your goddamn coworkers. You might know their children because you've been working with them for 30 years. So y'all children probably done grew up knowing each other. But that don't make you a community. So let's get to what a community is. It says right here. I showed y'all I wrote notes. So I'm reading from my notes. A community is a group of people with shared attributes and interest. A group of people with shared attributes and interests. Now, that's the proper definition of a community. Clark Kent, welcome. I have to strongly disagree with you, my brother, because in Detroit, New Era Detroit, they are expanding worldwide. A community is a group of people with shared attributes and interests. Now, in the hood, there's all types of people. There's all types of people. For the most part, we share some of the same attributes, but not all. And none of us have the same interests. If you just want to, if you want to relegate the projects to black people, I'm just saying if you want to do that. If people think the ghettos is the black community, then by this definition here, a group of people with shared attributes and interests. Yeah, we have some similar attributes. But do we all share the same interests? No. No. And you know we don't share the same interests. This is why we have a breakdown in communication with one another. This is why when we speak to each other, even right here on YouTube, we've had plenty of examples this whole weekend of the breakdown in communication between black men. And this is why we're scattered, because you have some men who think we should go back and build, and then you have some men who say we should leave. And we're not obligated to go and build the community back up. This is why I say there is no community. We're scattered. We don't share the same interests. But yeah, we may look alike, you know? Yeah, we all may be poor in this area, but we don't share the same interests. Welcome, Love Wisdom. Great to see you. So the proper definition of a community is a group of people with shared attributes and interests. So we're going to just start there and tell me, where do you see a black community? Because like I said, if we even want to use the projects, we share similar attributes, but none of us have the same interests. None of us do. That's why we don't get along in the projects. You see? But when you go to other races of people's community, they share the same attributes and the same interests. This is why when you go to their communities, you have something called community watch. Because everybody in the community have the shared interest in keeping it safe for the people who live there. That's the shared interest. We must keep our community safe. So we have a community watch board. You see? So they have a shared interest. They protect one another. We don't. It's dog eat dog in the projects. And I'm not using the projects, of course, to diminish black folk. I'm using this as an example because when I hear people say the black community, I'm wondering what black community? What? How does the black community look? We can tell you how Caucasian communities look. We can tell you how Asian communities look. Tell me how the black community looks if you're not talking about the projects, if you're not talking about the ghetto. So now we've completed step one, which is defining a community. The word community or a community is a group of people with shared attributes and interests. So now that we've proven, based on this definition, that us as a people don't even represent the definition of a community. So how is it a black community? Just off the sheer we don't even represent the definition. We don't represent the definition. And I know a lot of pro-blacks are gonna, they're gonna get their feelings into this. I'm waiting to see the comments, but prove me wrong. Off this definition alone, tell me if there's a black community. Just off the definition of the word community. Tell me where you see one. Apple cider, welcome. Tell me. I want to know. All of this, the black community, the black community, the black community. What black community? Which one? Where? See, what I would respect if people would say we're trying to build or rebuild a black community. Because when they give examples of black communities, they bring up Black Wall Street, which was a black community based on the definition of a community. They shared the same attributes and interests. That's why they were successful. Because they didn't only share the same attributes, their interests was the same. And that's what we've been missing since then. We've been missing the interest part. We're dealing with too many people with different interests in life. Or they're more focused on their personal interests. You see? Instead of seeing where their personal interests may line up with the group's interests. Because everybody in a group want to be successful personally. So you should never have to state, what you want personally. See, people who always state what they want personally all the time, and they're supposed to be operating as a group, those are the people who are not built for a group. They're not built for a community. The people who are saying they don't have to build nothing, or we don't have to build nothing, then why you keep saying that there's a black community? Why you keep saying there's a black community? How can we burn something down that's not there? What, are you going to burn down a YouTube channel? Because there's no black community. Point to it. Where is that? And based on the definition, prove to me that there's a black community. Because like I said, if you even use the projects, all the people in the projects don't share the same interests. Everybody in the projects don't commit crime. Everybody in the projects don't piss in the elevators. You got working class people that live in the projects, that live in the ghetto, that go to work every day and mind their business and just want to make it home at night. They live in the projects too. So they don't have the interest to rob people. They don't have the interest to hustle. They go to work. They're what the streets call civilians. So they're not interested in doing what other people are interested in doing. They're actually interested in seeing things get better. This is why you see when the news cameras come to the projects, when crazy shit happen, they make sure they get that black woman that's been working all her life for the city. And they interview her. Because she's gonna say, I'm tired of the violence. She's gonna say, I'm tired of, the loitering and the weed smoke in the hallways and all of that. So her interest is not what other people in the project interests are. So there's no black community. Just by the definition, there's no black community. Just by definition. Now, let's get to my next bullet point. The core components of a community. What makes up a community? Besides the people. The development of power. Let me repeat that. The development of power. Tell me when the black community developed some power. Tell me what makes the black community so powerful. Since we have our own community, one of the core components of a community is for the people to develop power. Most of us don't even know how to do that. You see? We don't know where to start when it comes to the development of power. When it starts with simple things. You know, the things that people are on here saying that they not gonna do. You know, things like that. You know? Things like that. So, again, I want y'all to explain to me um prove to me again how we are a community. Based on based on sheer definition, just prove to me that we have a community. And what I just said, the development of power. When have we developed power? Isn't that one of the things that we've been really trying to delve into? Developing power? Why haven't we been able to do that if we have a community? Huh, fam? Can y'all explain that to me? If we have a community, why haven't we done that? Brother Rob says the power is in our unity. We can support schools, home buying, commerce, communications, transportation, and etc. Exactly. And you know what unity is? Let's go back to the definition of a community. Unity is having a shared interest. Unity is taking action on a shared interest. So if we don't have shared interests, no wonder we're not unified. You got people saying burn shit down. You got other people saying run away from it. And then you got other people saying let's build it. Let's rebuild it. We cannot unify under multiple interests. We all must have the same end goal in mind. So if the power is in our unity, like my brother Rob says, and we lack unity, isn't that the reason why we cannot develop power, which is a core component of a community? Huh? Can y'all explain that? Shout out to my brother Kenneth Nash. The second core component of a community, the development of constitute leadership. I'ma laugh at that one. Shit, we can't develop no leaders because the leaders that were developed from the so-called black community, you got people now saying that, oh, we can't hold those guys up because those guys were criminals. You know, those guys sold drugs. You know, those guys sold drugs. They were kingpins, and we can't glorify gangsters, even though America was built on gangsterism. I don't understand these people logic. Shout out to my brother Tony Smith. So we'll definitely never develop constitute leadership if we don't even understand the people who's in leadership in America and what leadership looks like in America. See, we so quick to demonize people that this is why we can't develop nothing. We can't develop nothing. But if you're using the hood as your measuring stick for the black community, then you have to say that the guys who came from the hood, who y'all deem criminals, were the leaders in the community. They were. And if you actually delve into these guys' stories and you listen to the people, shout out to my brother Sonny. Thanks for tuning in. And you listen to the stories and the testimonies of the people, they tell you that the neighborhood was safer. The neighborhood was a better place to be when certain guys was around. You see? You wonder why Chicago is out of control with the gang violence? It's because all of the gang leaders are locked up. That's why. The streets of Chicago was not as violent as it is now when those guys was in the streets. When the black gangsters was running Harlem, when they ran their piece of Harlem, Harlem was different. Harlem looked different. Harlem felt different. And those guys are the reason why you hear what you hear about Harlem today. It's because of guys like Guy Fisher, who bought the Apollo, a black man. But he got life in prison. But the man got a master's degree in business. Those guys set the precedent in Harlem. Who you think taught those guys how to, who you think created Harlem culture? Those guys. And those guys, what? They had constitute leadership. They were leaders. This is why they had what? They were able to develop power. They had power. This is why Harlem was a black Mecca in New York. That was an example of a community. There were black supermarkets back then. Black cleaners. Anything a black person needed, they could go and buy it from a black person. And you still see remnants of it today with the street vendors. You need something healthy to drink or something to eat, and you in Harlem, you go right to a black guy or a black woman. She's just they just street vendors now. But back then, everything was black. Everything. Those guys had power. But now you got black men here on YouTube that'll tell you don't look up to those guys. And those guys had power. But they'll sit here and tell you how much power Donald Trump got. Like Donald Trump ain't a criminal. You Negroes kill me, man. Y'all do. Let's get to the third core component of a community. Participation. Participation is a core component of a community. So you got these Negroes up here saying they not participating. Then why you keep talking about the black community? Participation and membership. You must be a card-carrying member. You must be a member. You know, like how a lot of y'all Negroes go and become members of fraternities and go be members of Mason lodges. Yeah. Because what? The fraternities is what? A community, right? Oh yeah. So let's get back to this. Participation and membership. You must participate. Don't talk shit from the bench. You got to get in the game. You got to participate. Because you worry about the black community. You keep talking about the black community. You keep saying that there is a black community. Where's your participation? Where's your membership? Where's your participation? Can you show me? Hmm? Can you show me? The fourth core component of a community, organizing. We must be organized. But we cannot organize if we don't have a shared vested interest. See, this is why these big corporate companies could come in the neighborhood and buy up the neighborhood because they have a shared vested interest in buying the area in which we live in and making it their community. Because when they get there, they already have a shared interest. That's why they bought it back together. Because then they're going to move their people there, and the people that they want to do business with or are already doing business with. So you know how they talking about all these Jews that's buying up the hood? You know why they could buy up the hood? Because they have a shared vested interest in turning where we live at into their neighborhood. You see? They're organized. We're not organized. We're in a disarray. Next one, a meaningful impact. A meaningful impact. What is our meaningful impact? Since we have a community, what is our meaningful impact? I'm not talking about on a small scale. I'm talking about in the world. Shout out to my brother Sonny. Next one, organizational capacity and management. How much people and who's going to manage it? How many people is in the community? And who are the people who are going to manage the community? Now, how could you have management because you have people saying that there's a black community, and this is one of the components, the core components of a community. Now, how could we have management without accountability? Explain that to me. How can we manage something if nobody wants to be held accountable for nothing? Explain that to me. Explain that to me. Since y'all want to keep saying there's a black community, how can we have management, proper management, and nobody wants to be held accountable? How else do management work? How could you make sure everybody's doing their job if people telling you they doing their job and they really isn't? Nobody's being held accountable. But there's a black community. But one of the core components is organizational capacity and management. Y'all can't even tell me how many people in the goddamn black community. Can you tell me that? Tell me how many black people in the black community. Half of y'all don't even know the capacity of your goddamn housing project. The last core component of a community. Now, it's plenty more. These are the ones I just picked. There's plenty more. Ongoing reflection and innovation. Ongoing reflection. Niggas don't think before they speak. How, how many of these niggas think before they speak? How many of them reflect on the shit they said and the shit they do here on YouTube when they get up on these panels? How many of them reflect? How many of them? How many of them reflect on their own actions? I don't see a lot of reflection. Because, see, in order to reflect, you got to hold yourself accountable. And these guys already gave up their accountability. They already said they're not willing to be accountable. But these are the people who keep saying there's a black community. That there's a certain group of guys who's destroying the black community. But I just sat here and I got one more thing to go through to prove that the black community don't exist. There is none. Shout out to my brother Muhammad is the one. I appreciate you on the donation. My brother says it's now a skeleton community, sheep. Exactly. Exactly, love, wisdom. A lot of protection, not reflection. A lot of deflection. There you go, my brother Rob. So where's the on and look what it says. Look what it says, family. Ongoing reflection. Ongoing. Ongoing. Because the reflection has to be ongoing in order to do what? Manage. Which was the bullet point before that one. It says ongoing reflection and innovation. Being innovative. We're great at doing that. Black people are great at being innovative. I don't think that's an issue. The issue is after we innovate. The management part is the problem. Which is why we don't have a meaningful impact. We have poor management because we don't organize. How could you have effective management without organization? Without everybody knowing their role and playing it? Knowing your role and playing it. And part of proper organizing is participation in management, which will lead to constitute leadership, which in return will help develop power. So y'all just see how I did that? Y'all see how I just connected all the core components of a community together? Now tell me if there's still a black community. Please tell me. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Welcome my sis Eunice Outland. I didn't forget you, sis. Great to see you. If you haven't yet, please smash that like button. Now let's get into some of the characteristics of a community. Social cohesion. Social cohesion. We definitely don't have no social cohesion. Niggas on here throwing each other under the bus. There's no social cohesion at all. At all. You got people threatening people because you don't agree with them. a person to threaten you because you made their point look bullshit. So they threatening you now and they want to fight. The lack of social cohesion. The lack of cooperation, basically. There's no cooperation. There's too much competition and not enough collaboration. Me and Brother Rob did a show on that. There's not enough collaboration. There's not enough cooperation. There's too much competition, which leads to the lack of social cohesion. This is why a black woman could be getting her ass whooped in public and niggas got their phones out. The lack of social cohesion. We see it on social media every day, right here on YouTube, right on Instagram, right on Facebook. We see the lack of cooperation. We see it. Oh, but there's a black community, though. There's a black community. When we're lacking the core components and the characteristics of one, but there's still one, because y'all want it to be one. So what y'all should have said was, we're trying to rebuild a black community. Because at one point there was one. There were black communities in a lot of different cities and states. We know that. But we still have people today in 2019 saying there's a black community. And it haven't been a black community in about 50, 60 years. All you got to do is listen to the older brothers who in their 50s and 60s, and they'll tell you when they were growing up, it was a community. When they were young, it was a community. But tell me where you see one at now. Why you think these old folks be scared to come out their house? Because they know it ain't no community. And without no community, there's what? Chaos. There's no what? Safety. Nobody's safe. So tell me again, point to me, where's the black community? Again, I just want to know. I just want to know. The next characteristic, social structure, a socioeconomic structure. Oh, we know there's no socioeconomic structure. We know that. The lack of black business proves that. The lack of black ownership, period. Cultural values. Cultural values. Now, this is something that, for the most part, a huge part of a lot of black people, we keep cultural values. But then now you have a group of people saying that they're willing to go against their cultural values. And I understand why they going against it, but they don't understand. But that's another conversation. And another characteristic, which is something I'm going to delve into real quick and then I'm going to end it. A community governs itself. A community governs itself. Tell me, do black people govern themselves? We saw an example of a white community governing itself. Why the hell you think George Zimmerman won from killing Trayvon Martin? Because George Zimmerman was part of the Community Watch Board, which shows what? The characteristic of social cohesion. Which plays into the part of management, a core component of a community. You see? That community governed itself. Tell me where the black community govern ourselves at. When you got a bunch of goddamn race soldiers riding around. The cop car is the new horse. Welcome, Amanda. I appreciate you tuning in. So now, again, do we govern ourselves? Because one of the characteristics of a community is it must be able to govern itself. And with these components, the development of power, the development of constitute leadership and power, participation in membership, organizing, having a meaningful impact, organizational capacity and management, ongoing reflection and innovation. And like I said, it was more. I just wrote these down. But this is how a community is able to govern itself. So now, explain to me if we govern ourselves. I'm gonna let the light rock this time, because I'm finished reading. Let's close the book. Now, do we govern ourselves, family? No. So if we don't govern ourselves, prove to me that we still have a black community. I just went through the definition of a community, some of the core components of a community, and some of the characteristics of a community. And we match up to none of them. Only one I could say we match up to is we have some cultural values. We share some of the same attributes. But other than that, it's a wrap. There's no black community. Stop saying that shit. And if you think there is one, you should be trying to rebuild it. And if you're not willing to rebuild it, stop talking about it. Stop talking about some shit you're not going to do. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in with me tonight, y'all. I'm going to scroll up the chat. And I'm going to shout everybody out. I appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Much love to y'all. Shout out to my sis, Poetic Kels, the great moderator. Shout out to my brother, Darren. Shout out to my brother, Rob. Shout out to my sis, Char Willie. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to the grinder, JT. Shout out to Mookie 007. Welcome to Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Go ahead and hit that red button, so you can stay in tune with me, Mookie. Hey, Sweets, welcome. Thanks for tuning in, too. Thanks for tuning in. Clark Kent, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. You go ahead and hit that red button, too. Stay in tune with your boy. Hey, Love Wisdom. It's always a pleasure to see you, Love Wisdom. Thanks for tuning in. Doug the Diplomat. Thanks for tuning in, my brother. Apple Cider. Welcome to Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Go ahead and hit that big red button so you can stay in tune, Apple Cider. My brother Kenneth Nash. Thanks for tuning in, my bro. Tony Smith. Thanks for tuning in, bro. Sonny. Thanks for tuning in, big bro. Muhammad is the one. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, OG. My sis Eunice Outland. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Shout out to all the donators tonight, too. I appreciate you. If you donated, I appreciate you. If you didn't, I appreciate you, too. But if you want to donate, the donate links is in the chat. Thanks for tuning in, Amanda. I appreciate you. Monique Hill, I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. As always, Hills in. Thanks for tuning in, family. King Ivo, thanks for tuning in. If y'all just coming in, y'all might have to catch the playback. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in, man. I really, really do. Appreciate you, y'all. Thanks. But like I said, man, there's no black community. Please stop saying that. If you cannot definitively prove that it is one. And if you don't give a damn about the black community, stop talking about it. Stop talking about it. Because what you're doing is you stirring up bullshit for some shit that don't even matter to you anyway. And if you stirring up bullshit about something that don't matters to you, that mean you want some fuck boy shit. And you're here to cause dissension. And people like you need to go find something to do. Because I don't understand how people who don't care about something spend so much time on it. But like I said, there is no black community. There's no black community. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. If y'all haven't yet, go ahead and smash that like button for me. And stay tuned. I will be back tomorrow. I got some surprises coming up for y'all family. And y'all stay tuned, man. Y'all stay in tune with me, DS1 Ross, and Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Much love to y'all. I will be back tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Y'all stay safe and y'all enjoy y'all day tomorrow. And remember, we got to heal before we build. We got to heal before we build. So if y'all trying to rebuild this black community, we got to heal first. We got to heal our relationships between one another. That's what we have to do in order for us to properly develop. We have to heal, family. We got to heal. This is DS1 Ross of Sheep Stay Sleep TV. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.